next presenter is Stella Vang, and she's already here with us. Hi, Stella, how are you?
Hi, hello everyone. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How are you?
Oh yeah, super busy day, but I'm able to attend these sessions to
Thank you
share.
so much. Thank you so much for your time, and we are honored to have you. And ladies and gentlemen, this is Stella Wang, and she's team lead of security and privacy competence from Continental Automotives, and she's leading team focusing on automotive advanced research projects and consultant projects for business units and security operations, threat intelligence, and incidents response. So her thoughts will be on cybersecurity framework for AI. So let's get ready to listen her interesting presentation. So Stella, over to you. You can start your presentation after sharing your screen with us.
Okay, thank you for the host. Nice introduction of myself. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
So hope you can see it.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, I will just go into the presenting mode. Okay, so we are ready to go. Yeah, so first of all, good afternoon, every audience here. So basically, here it is a small piece of work whereby Continental, and we are focused mainly on mobility. So you can see from my pictures here. And we are also happy to collaborate any security point of view, mainly in the mobility area. But this mobility is quite a big scope, maybe the car, maybe the ship, the boat, and also the airplane, the fleet management. On all these topics, we are also working on. So today is just a piece of work. I think just now also the last speaker mentioned about AI. So how vulnerable the AI model is and how to protect and how to prevent your AI model before it goes to the market to also avoid the future instance. So this just hopefully to give you an insight about it. So we also welcome for the discussions afterwards. Okay, so a little bit about myself. Put it here. So currently I'm holding the senior manager role in the security and privacy command center. But as the hosting, I'm also lead the 3 teams with the advanced research, consultant services, and also the security operation, including incident response and vulnerability management. And I would like to differentiate a bit that we are focused mainly on IoT security, which it is different with the IT security domain. Although they have some similarities, but we are focused mainly on the technical side of cryptography side of the security. Okay. So a little bit background of my company. Probably the famous one you know is our tires with that house. But we are a company with the leading way for the mobility. We have the autonomous mobility. And here in Singapore, we also work with EasyMile, and also we also the software-defined vehicle architectures first to the market. So what does it mean? This means the HPC-based the architectures which already deployed in the car. And then definitely we have our famous brand tires, and we are up to 192,000 employees worldwide. Although the tires is a famous one, but I can see compared with the other divisions, they are equally important to our company because the tires is just one division of us. We are also step into the digital transformation journey. And this is our reorganization structures from this year. Then definitely to last year, if you are focused on automotive domain, you heard about Continental spin-off with Vitesco. And now we reorg us again with more efficient and also to be feasible for the future digital transformation journey. So here you can see we have three main group sectors where it's automotive, tires, and Conti-Tech. So where we are placed in this automotive technology. So here, tires, yeah, everyone knows, I will not extend it, but for Conti-Tech, maybe it's new for you, but you can see our solutions is quite different with what we know, maybe as a Conti, as a mobility company. We provide, I don't want to read one by one, but you can read yourself. So we really provide different solutions, which is to support the, the ecosystems. We are focused on the automotive domain. From 1st of January, we reorganize ourselves with the 5 business area: safety and motion, architecture and networking, then user experiences, smart mobility, autonomous mobility. So you can see we are in the high speed, which the future mobility technology within our organizations. Then definitely we have some central functions and communications, finance, where currently I'm placed in this holistic engineering and technology, where if you look at here, the central functions under the automotive pillar. So we are take care of the whole technology sphere security as a whole for the whole organization in mainly automotive technology pillar. And we also have IT, if you IT security. So there is in the groups of the functions where is a group of information technology. We have some interactions, but our focus, like I said in the beginning, we are different with the IT security pillar and domain. Okay. Okay, let me guide you through my agendas for today. Hopefully to give an insight about this piece of works where the world status is. So I will give international regulation standards overview, followed by the Artificial Intelligence Act, but this is still a draft act from European. And after this act, definitely like Singapore and other countries, they also trying to develop their standards and also some regulations for AI. Then how we dealing with this piece of AI if it really goes to our daily life as a supplier or vendor? We both want a reliable AI model. We want a certified AI model. So, but before that, before develop, how you really estimated the risk. So here I bring the cybersecurity assessment framework, but this is mainly applicable to all mobility world, but you can extend it with the ISO 27000, the risk management for AI in general, maybe IT world or cloud. Yeah, here I want to emphasize, I mainly focus on mobility, automotive domain for today. Okay, with this timeline, you will see that from early 2019, there already has a European Commission talk about trustworthiness AI, and followed by the NIST standards about some trustworthiness AI. And you can see here in the middle of this line, in 2 years ago, July 2020, Continental already worked on the authentic regulations for artificial intelligence. And security for AI is part of the authentic AI topics. And after this, you can see we have a NISAs, we also have the ISO towards the trustworthiness AI on this roadmap. And after 2020, I can see there has more works coming up from 2021. So first, there has a European automobile. Yeah, like I said, we focus on mobility world, talk about manufacturing associations position paper about AI. in automobile industrial. And then in the middle of 2021, there has Artificial Intelligence Act published by European Commissions. Then along the way, you can see the ISO also have the implications of AI and machine learning, and also robustness of the neural networks. Then finally, we have the very milestones of the road vehicle cybersecurity engineers with the ISO 21434. It covers and solves the problems where in cybersecurity in transport systems. Okay, what is the authentic or this like trustworthiness AI talk about? They basically cover 7 properties. So first, the authentic, fairness, human agency, transparency, reliable, and safety and security. So here, like I said, this is a piece of work under this authentic AI or trustworthiness AI. So here today, we are focused on security. Definitely, we have some more work, which is more important regarding to safety domain. So basically, they want to address, is AI system protected against the attacks? So maybe some known attacks, like a physical attacks, adversary attacks, and also how good your AI model is. Okay, so we focus on security for AI. They are not only in the ISO 21434 standards, which mainly focus on mobility area. They also have some other documents or other standards where they are trying to address these questions, especially for this secure artificial intelligence security testing of AI. How you really test it? This is still in the draft. They will publish soon. Then also from NIST perspective, they give a terminology of the worst machine learning. So how you really group those attacks, defense, and what the consequences if you really AI model getting hacked. Then let's go a little bit on this AI Act document. So what is in scope and what is out of scope of this Artificial Intelligence Act? So you can see this is also published quite quite early, like last year, 1 year ago. And what is in scope is providers placing on the market and putting into services AI system in the union independent of their origin. This is mainly definitely because it's coming from European Commission. This is first, we need to applicable to the European countries. And the user located in the union provide the user located in the third country and where output produced by the system is used in the union. So in the future, if this proposal has been passed where you want to sell an AI model to the European market, you need to follow exactly the AI Act and to get a certification of your AI model once you really want to put to the market. As a human being, we want convenience from the AI model, but we also want to understand those kind of machine, what they are thinking about. Yeah, I use a word like thinking about. So because the machine learning model, it not well be understood by the humans. There are some symbols, yeah, there are some classifiers, so whatever, yeah, you know what I mean here, okay? Then here, Artificial Intelligence Act also followed by the risk-based approach. They classified into 4 levels of the risk. So first one, we all know, unacceptable risk. If the risk is really high, we cannot use it. Then we also have classifiers with this high risk, transparency risk, also no risk, minimal risk. Definitely the treatment and how it really, you can do the treatment, or you need to clarify certain transparencies to the regulators if your AI model was rating as a high risk or transparency risk. Especially think about the mobility scenario. You have a car, then the AI model will redirect you to certain accidents on the road. Definitely, this is unacceptable risk. Yeah, even though you say, oh yeah, this is really convenient, whatever, but in the hacker's mindset, this also can be being used from the hacker perspective. So this kind of AI model, we should not use it. Okay, then come to the cybersecurity assessment framework. How we really dealing with this in the early development phase. So here I give a little bit the life cycle of AI. Maybe majority of you understanding, okay, some AI model on the functionings, and they need to secure maybe in the storage so that the hacker cannot hack the AI model itself and change something. But actually the mindset of the AI model should come from the whole life cycle protections, not only in the operations. So here you can see from the planning, the data, and the really a trusted data for the training and evaluation, then finally goes to the operation. They are touching each other. And once one part of it getting a problem, you need to go back and reloop it and redevelopment, trying to avoid the risks. This is a good method, I can say, a good approach, I can say. So what of this each steps talking about? So the planning, you should think about the problem statement. Do you getting our personal data? The data set, the AI model, the learning method, the feature, and also some runtime systems in the planning. But definitely once you go to the data side, you do some acquisition of the data, augmentations, labeling, quality assurance. But do you process the personal privacy data? At least in Asia now, I heard also in India has the PDP bills, but haven't passed yet. So privacy is a big issue now, and every country has their own privacy law. And AI, sometimes they will collect the data which is very sensitive and the personal data related. So in this stage, you should consider regulations. And also, are these data are trustable? If they are fake data, if they are hackers data, you train a model which is already wrong. Yeah. And then after the data, you get into the training, doing the validations and doing the performance parameter tuning. Then you do the evaluations, and then you put to the operations. So if you look at the whole life cycle, if one of them getting problem, eventually your AI model is faked model or is vulnerable model. Okay, then how is security approach? Once talk about security, everyone will think about maybe CIA. It's our basic approach. Confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Very, very basic security attributes. Definitely we have extended security attributes, but I'm not extended discussions here. So just give you impressions how we really analyze from security perspective. So with the bottom line, we have the life cycle of the AI model with planning, data, training, evaluation, operations. Have each of the model or each of the stage, you will take care of one or two or one or more security attributes where you're trying to protect it. Like in the training data about the data integrity. So is the data has been changed already? And also the trained model, is the model itself, it has been changed, or it is original model from the original data. Then in the evaluation side, you need to consider more. Yeah, it is not only the integrity, also the confidentiality. Is that the model is the model you have? And also the testing data. This is quite important. Now, a lot of focus on you make AI model very accurate, very good, very secure, but how is your testing data? The testing data would eventually become your operating data. So the data you directly from the outside world, is it trustworthiness? So a lot of questions behind us, yeah, trying to address it. So according to Microsoft, yeah, I would just directly put in the Microsoft trend modeling system and independency is quite a good document in the GitHub. So they already group all this hacking method under the CIA. So you can see the confidentiality. I've not read one line by one line. So you can see maybe the backdoor of the machine learning, you should consider this confidentiality, where if you also have the backdoor of the machine learning, this is integrity is also need to be take consideration, where the availabilities is only applicable to export of software independencies. Yeah, if some software it is getting DOS attack, will affect your machine learning model or not. So after grouping all this, so now I get the clear pictures. Yeah, if I get hacked by all these hackings, how can I prevent those hackings from the AI model perspective? Therefore, we have this ISO 21434 risk assessment process or risk assessment frameworks. So first, we identify our asset. So damage scenarios, and what is damage scenarios? For example, if this threat will really cause the car accident on the highway. Then after that, we identify the threat scenarios with these safety, finance, operation, privacy, impact ratings. So after that, we also go through the attack path analysis. How the attack feasibility looks like. Is it very difficult to hack it? You need some certain tool. How long you need to hack it? Maybe up to a week or a years. Then in the end, you consider also open vulnerabilities database like CVSS, and eventually you give a risk determinations. And after that, you get your cybersecurity goals and claims. Finally, you do the risk treatment after all those steps has been done. So this is a very good approach because first you only identify the SFOP of the impact of your set is not enough. Because as a hacker, maybe he takes years or 100 years to hack it, although it's a very critical hacking, our rating will be less, yeah, lower risk because no one will wait like 100 years to wait for a very critical hacking happens. So combining with the attack feasibility analysis plus the impact analysis, it is a good approach to really protect your asset. So here is more like a risk management framework. As just now I already mentioned, what shall we do? So first identify the item, then you think about asset. So the asset can be tangible and intangible. Tangible, yeah. So something you can see, something you can't see. Maybe it's a data flow, maybe it's a hardware component. It doesn't matter. This asset can be everything. Can be your system, can be your software, can be your hardware, even can be just something, you know, in the graphs where you cannot touch. Then our final goal is to derive a proper cybersecurity goals, which can achieve where derive the cybersecurity requirements. So here you might have a question, why we have a so complicated risk management framework. This is due to our mobility world is quite customized. If you are a fan of cars, right? Maybe I make an example like a Mazda 3 and Mazda 6. The customized part, the money you paid, to buy a high-class car and the money you paid by a low-class car, this will determine which asset you really want. It is not only the convenient part, it is also the asset will be changed even for the same series of the car. The same series of the car, because for example, you want Bluetooth, you want flash, the flash stations, you want the video audios, and all these functions behind it. Definitely, it is more security vulnerabilities. But compared with the low-end cars, maybe you don't have Wi-Fi, you don't have Bluetooth, then your asset will be changed. The design, the R&D design, the architecture design will be changed as well. So I can see this is very customized business. I never see in other, like handphone, yeah. Because handphone, usually the product life cycle of handphone, it can up to 6 months. But for a car, at least you need to wait until 8 to 10 years from the chip manufacturing. We are the tier 1 suppliers, then we go to the car makers. So the whole life cycle is 8 years. Yeah, why 8 years? Safety. We cannot tolerate 0% of the safety issue. But as a handphone, it doesn't matter, right? You can tolerate maybe 0.1%. Because someone get a fixed or the handphone has a problem, right? You can just change a new one, right? But how about car? You buy a big property, then later you find the car got a problem. Yeah, so that's the differences in our industrial, in automotive, zero tolerance for the mistakes. So that's why the quality is very high and the product life cycle is longer. And also definitely the price is higher than the handphone. Yeah, just want to explain why we need this kind of framework. Okay, then I think I want to summarize my talk for today, hopefully to give you insight of our mobility world, how it looks like. So first we talk about the standard and regulations. Hopefully you still remember that roadmap were from 2019. So it's 2-3 years ago. And they have a Europe Artificial Intelligence Act, but currently it's the draft. It is haven't into the really effective, but they will effective soon. And how we dealing with all these regulations and the problems of the AI models if we really want to put my AI in the market. So we come with the cybersecurity assessment framework for AI. This framework, you can also extend it to the more like IT world. Yeah, we also have a very familiar assessment framework in the IT world. So here I focus on mobility world. Then we also have some future use cases in automotive domain. Yeah, so like I explained, the examples where differences between the handphone and the car. Okay, I would like to conclude my talk. I will hand over back to our host.
Hi, Stella. Thank you so much for your wonderful session. And it was really very interesting. I personally enjoyed it so much. And we are really thankful for your time. And we are really honored to have you here. So I'll ask the audience that if someone is having any question, they can drop in the chat or in the QA session. And Estelle is here to answer all of our questions. So thank you so much, Estelle. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank
Have
you.
a great day all.
Thank you.